information that was not included in the game was included in the manual. Hi, hey, hello, how are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? Do you know what time it is? I will tell you what time it is. It is time for another Teddy Talks ASMR video. Whoa, whoa. My name is Teddy, hey, and I'm talking in a sort of ASMR style. In tonight's video, I will be showing you my all-time favorite PlayStation 2 video games. The PlayStation 2 was the first gaming console that I ever got. I got a PlayStation 2 on Christmas morning, and I was obsessed with it ever since. And although I am much older than when I first got it, I keep it around, I hold on to it, and I bust it out every once in a while. It was definitely a big part of my childhood, and yeah, even though I don't play video games as much anymore, like ever, I rarely play any kind of video game. I hold on to these games because when I do like to engage with that nostalgic part of my childhood, these are the games that I pull out. In my personal opinion, I really do think that the PlayStation 2 is, or was, one of the best video game consoles of all time, and I feel really bad for anyone that didn't get to experience it during its heyday. So with that being said, let's get into the collection. It's also really crazy to me that my PlayStation 2 has never ever, it's never stopped working, it's never needed repair, and compared to like an Xbox 360 or some of these newer consoles, it's insane to me that something can be built to actually last a long time, and I really don't know what I would ever do if it stopped working. First game on the list, and I have 8 games. Mary-Kate and Ashley. Sweet 16 License to Drive, baby. Here's the thing, I know that the ring light might be annoying on the gloss of the video game. Not the video game, the case, my bad. But I need it for me. It was like way too dark, okay? It just makes the video feel a little more professional when I have a light. Okay. Mary-Kate and Ashley, Sweet 16, Licensed to Drive. So, you might think to yourself, kind of a weird game to start with, and there are definitely more manly games on here, but I cannot stress enough the chokehold that this had on, not only me and my family, but our whole entire neighborhood. I can't, and the reason being, so I have a sister, I have one sibling, I have one sister. We'll get to some sounds. We'll get to some sounds with the case and all that stuff and opening and closing it. But I will explain a little bit why these games made it to the list and the chokehold that they had on me. But I have a sister, and so I think my parents' thinking was, we'll get them a game that they can both play. And you would think, okay, girly girl, this is a girly girl game. No, this game taught you to fend for yourself. If you're not gonna fight for yourself, get out. And honestly, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen now. And I'm being so serious. So this game, on the back it says, get ready for the sweetest birthday bash ever. Mary Kate and Ashley are licensed to drive and ready to hit the road. Hop in and drive into excitement with over 30 party-style minigames. And you can see the graphics are like atrocious, and they actually look like a little better in the game, but it's almost like scary, like looking back at them. Even though to me it's fond memories. So the reason I'm gonna put the game down really quick so I can finish this story. Actually, maybe I should pick it back up because people wanted me to like talk and do triggers, right? Okay. So, the reason why this had a chokehold on me, my sister, everyone in our neighborhood, it was like me and my sister, and then, like 2 kids across the street, 2 kids to our side, a couple kids down the way, so like we were like a clique, right? And, my parents got this, I think because they wanted my sister to be included and to be able to use the PlayStation, even though, she really didn't use it that much. And so in this game, you're basically Mary Kate and Ashley and the friends, and you're like driving around and you're playing these mini games, but it's really conniving. You have to like take and steal clothes from each other. You can steal money from each other. You can like roll up in your car and like bump people out the way. Bump people out the way. Bump people out the way. And in the end, you want to be the winner, and you basically want to get around the board first and like get the most money, I think. And you can like pick up friends and things. So the games, if I remember correctly, you had to like take pictures of each other. There were teamwork games, there were trivia games. You were on like dirt bikes, you were on like parasails. It was crazy. They had you doing everything but driving in this game. And it actually got so bad because we would play this, from what I remember, like you could have up to 4 people because we had that big that big adapter that 4 friends could play. 4 people could play together on one device, which was unheard of for the time, and we really used one TV for 4 people. For 4 people. I've just decided on this channel that when I trip up my words because I'm talking so fast, it's just part of the ASMR, and I reverse and like restate the point. And yeah, it got so bad one summer that my mom kicked us out the house, and I think she took it away for a little bit. She was like, you have to go outside, you've been playing this all day. It was really rare that we were ever allowed to play a game for more than like an hour. Like 2 to 3 hours was pushing it. When I do the Xbox series, or like the Xbox version of this video, I'll talk about, like, I did stay up later, like I was allowed to, because I was a lot older when I had the Xbox, but this was like, I was in elementary school, and I'm actually really grateful for the PlayStation 2, because, there was no online yet, and so there wasn't any, like, risk of me being in danger. It was just my friends in our basement, like our unfinished cold basement in the summer, and it was all we needed at the time. It was all I needed, and I have really good memories of playing this game. I'm also set up today to be off to the side, so that's why the setup is a little weird. Here's the inside. I had to rearrange all the CDs because they were like really messy and all over the place before this video. That's probably the best angle you're gonna get. Mary Kate and Ashley forever, baby. Okay. I think that's all I want to say about that game, but truly it had a chokehold, and people would beg to come over to our house to play in our basement, play that game in our basement, and it was just fun. Like, you would think it was like a girly girl game, but it was cutthroat, and the girls were the last thing that you thought about. Like, you were just in these games, and this almost broke up the neighborhood a couple times, and I'm glad to report that we were able to work it out eventually. actually a game. I didn't really have a favorite character because that didn't matter, but it definitely mattered in this game. And I think if I remember, there was Elise. She's on the front. Elise is a staple of SSX Tricky. Forever badass. Right? There was Elise. Brody was the kind of hippie. He was a hippie kind of guy. That's how I learned about yin and yang. It was from Brody in this video game, if you can believe that. What else? Sia. S-E-E-I-A-H. Sia, I think, is how you spell that. I could be wrong. She was a bald black woman with a fur coat, and she was usually in pink and purple. I loved the pink and purple for that character. For Miss Sia. And just, like, she's bald. That was cool as a kid. You're like, yep, you're bald. That's cool. You know, I don't know. Oh my gosh. There was just a lot of characters. I liked Simon. I liked Simon in this version. I liked Simon in SSX Tricky 3. Yeah. Here's the interior. I debated, you know, getting the pamphlets out. I just think there's not enough cool things in the pamphlet to go through them. But, trust that I was the type of kid that would go through the pamphlet to learn about the game. So that was something that I did. That's something that I did. That is something that I did in my younger years. Guys, I'm really trying to talk and like do the triggers at the same time. I'm trying, okay? If it's not the best, I'm sorry. My games were so busted, I had to tape them back up. Look at that. I had to tape them back up. Why did it seem like CDs, like CD-ROMs and other games got scratched, and these never had any issues with being scratched? Was it the system? Was it the system? I don't know. I'm going to cut really quick. That's all I have to say about SSX Tricky. There was a map, I think, set in Tokyo, and you would like go in the air vents and get shot up. That map was here in this game, and I loved that. That is all I have to say, and let's go on to the next game. For our next game, I accidentally counted one game twice, but I literally have two versions of that game. I have this version of SSX3 and this version of SSX3. And the funny story, I remember this. I'm really good at keeping track of my things. I'm really good at keeping track of my things. I lost this version. Look how taped up it was. Like, I was afraid it was gonna get, you know, demolished. And so I went out and I bought this one used or something. Well, then years later, like a long time after I lost. Sorry, this is so funny to me to like, whatever. After I lost this one, and I got this one, I found this one, like, it was behind a television cabinet, and like, it got like dropped and like slid back behind this TV cabinet. And I found it when we were moving and rearranging stuff in our basement. So, this is the OG copy. OG. This is the pretty copy for the video that I played on for a while. Okay, so SSX3 was a major improvement over SSX Tricky and the first one. The world building and the free writing was immaculate. sounded really cool. Okay. There we go. I was trying to be a little bit louder so it would cover up some of the sound of me closing it. Favorite characters in this game? Allegra. She's on the cover. Loved Allegra. She was more of a tomboy. Yeah, Griffin. Griffin was like a child. I think he was literally 12 or 13 in the game. Riding around getting beat up by a bunch of adults. So, that was cool. Simon was crazy. Kaori, I think. One of the moves, you could get like an Uber and do like a special move in the game, and you would like pop up like a ballerina and the board would spin around you. Simon's was that he threw the snowboard around his neck. Like that. Pretend this is the snowboard. And he would like land it, just impossible, like superhero type things for this video game. The radio, the songs, oh my gosh, the playlist and the radio. You can go on YouTube and look up SSX Tricky 3 playlist or like whatever radio station. Amazing. Who put the music together for SSX Tricky 3? I loved so many maps. The rails were a lot easier to ride in this version. Crow's Nest, Function Junction, or Junction, whatever the heck, Metro Station. If you know, you know. I am going to put this down and continue with the rest of the games. Our next game, my next game, I feel like is probably the most well-known game in this bunch. It was on multiple consoles, multiple systems, and I think it's the only other game other than SSX Tricky or SSX Tricky 1, 2, 3 that it's the only other game that was like as popular as those games. Can you guess what it is? If you guessed Battlefront Star Wars 2, sorry, that was out of order, Star Wars Battlefront 2, you would be correct. Icon of a video game, Okay. I mean, the art of this game, the graphics of this game, the play and the flow and the format of this game, the longevity of this game. They need to re-release this like every decade, every 5 years. Like, they really need to just keep releasing it. So Star Wars Battlefront 2 was a game where you could play as the... It's out of focus a little bit, hold on. I don't know if that's better. My phone's like, it's kind of wanting to focus on me. There we go. So Star Wars Battlefront 2, you could play as the clones or the robots, the droids. You could be Jedi, you could be like people with guns, like Princess Leia, I think is how you say it. Chewbacca, Han Solo. You could be like General Grievous. Yeah, that's a robot, but he's like a robot Jedi. Anyway, I'm trying to get as many sounds as possible in this video. So, you could play this online, but you mainly would just play it on your PlayStation, on your PlayStation 2. There was a first version, or like, this is the second one, so there was a first version, and that one was alright. A lot of people liked the first version, but I only ever knew this, so this is the one that became my favorite. The fact that you were able to have a whole army behind you and fight a whole army and not have a system that crashed was so sick. Being able to play as the good and the bad guys, so sick. There was a secret mode in this game where you could play only as the Jedi or only as the Sith, and you could fight just like Jedi battles. It was on a certain map, and you could also have spaceship battles. You could go to like moons. It was so fun. So if you know, you know. You could play this by yourself, you could play this with friends, and it just was like two giant armies battling it out. You could take your time, you could go quick. Truly like a remarkable video game. Alright, so the next video game that I wanted to talk about, one of my favorites, is Need for Speed Underground 2. Yeah, I took the headphones off because they were starting to hurt my ears. My ears were getting a little too compressed. It's a good idea to take a break from your headphones, every once in a while. It's honestly a little bit easier to navigate this without my headphones. Maybe I should try it more often. But I also like being able to hear what I'm actually doing and how good it sounds. Because when I'm editing, it's more, realistic to what is actually being heard by you guys. Need for Speed. I have a really funny story about this. So, when I was a kid, I legitimately told people that my dream car that I wanted was a hot pink minivan with underlights, like green underlights, so like a hot pink minivan with green underlights, because in this game, you could legit drag race a minivan. You could do a lot. You were getting sent out on races. You're like a hot racer in the city. Everyone wants you to race against them. You want to drag race. You want to actually race. Snoop Dogg has an amazing song that's kind of a remix a little bit. Like a rework. Riders of the Storm, or On the Storm. It's the theme song of this game. This game was fun, but I would get bored quickly if I wasn't progressing fast enough. And when I would lose first place, if a car passed me and I crashed out, physically crashed out, I get so mad. I will always play a game to the end, but this game would piss me off a little bit. It was a good lesson in humility, I'll just say that. I will just say that. So that was a fun game. Let's move on to our last two games. The next game in my PlayStation 2 collection, 007 Nightfire. I forgot to show you guys, a lot of these have the memory card holder, and obviously you can't keep the memory card in there because you need it for the game, right? Do you have what it takes to be Bond? James Bond. So, the reason I have this game, and I can't believe I didn't talk about this at the start, I had cousins that had every single console and every single video game growing up. It was amazing. It was like heaven. We drive to Iowa was a child. And I would just watch them play video games. It was like my Super Bowl, like my TV. Like when I think about my childhood, I think about my cousins and their unfinished space event, playing video games together. It was really, really fun, especially for me, like to be with my cousins and watch. So this was a game that they had, and I asked my mom for it, and I'm kind of surprised it was rated T for teen, because you were like shooting people. There was like the golden pistol in this game, and you shot someone once, and maybe I shouldn't say like shoot or shot or whatever. There was a weapon in this game where if you right somebody once, they like instantly right, they, you know, bit the dust. There was laser beams. The missions were so fun. There was a whole mission where you like broke into a museum and you had to shoot people with sleeping darts. You could not use your gun. You could not use your gun. I'm tired of trying to censor myself. You couldn't use your right. There was a level where you could go in like a ski lift gondola situation. So fun. The maps on this were great. This was a really fun like introductory game into like first person, you know, those kind of games, like first person shooter kind of games. And with that, we will move on to probably like one of my personal favorites of this whole video. It's probably not one that is super well known, but again, it's one that my cousins had, and it's very near and dear to my heart. And that game is X-Men Next Dimension. X-Men Next Dimension. Next Dimension. On the cover, we have Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, not Phoenix. Phoenix, yeah, I think. Nightcrawler, Beast, Rogue, and Betsy. Sorry, I thought I messed up some of the characters. I swear, this is one of my favorite games ever. So, we've spent a lot of time tapping on the cases. I'm actually going to show you how cool the little manual is. How cool the manual is for this game. So, this game, I bought the game used because even at the time that I got it, it was an older game technically. It was not new anymore. I got this game because my cousins had it as well. They actually had an older version, but I preferred this version of the game. Now, the reason why I love this manual, and I love manuals in general, I still love it, but I loved when the characters were included and information that was not included in the game was included in the manual. So let me read you these characters. Now, if you're not familiar, you can probably assume that the X-Men were fighting in this game. There was a story mode. You could fight each other in like an arcade mode. That's what you did. It was like Mortal Kombat. This is like the OG early Mortal Kombat, but X-Men version, if you will. Characters: Cyclops, Phoenix, Wolverine, Gambit, Rogue, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, Storm, Beast, Havok, Forge, Lady Deathstrike, Magneto, Juggernaut, Mystique, Sabretooth, Toad, Bastion. Bastion was the villain for this game. I don't really know if he's in any other like comics or X-Men things because he's not in any of the movies that I've seen. And then Prime Centennial Male and Prime Centennial Female. What I think is so funny about this game it's super like cliche because the good guys and the bad guys have to team up to work together, because Bastion basically just comes in and he's like, I'm really bored, like I'm a robot that's making other robots and I'm the robot leader, and we're gonna take everybody out and like take away your powers and render everybody useless. So the whole point of the game is to fight him, and then like before that they'll like fight these Centennials, and there's like a boy robot and a girl robot, and the boy robot is huge, like stupid huge in the game, and the girl robot is like super agile. He's super slow, but there is like a lot of power in his attacks. Again, I don't have headphones, so I can't really hear like how that sounds. In X-Men Next Dimensions, Next Dimension. There are many dimensions in this game though, so who cares? In the game though, the maps are really cool. There's power-ups. You can like basically do combinations on the controller to have like finishing moves. And actually, who do you think my favorite character in this game is? Who do you think I kicked ass with? I wiped the floor with everybody. Take a guess. Mystique. For some reason, normally in the comics and the movies, she shapeshifts and whatever and disguises herself, but she had a gun. I love that she had a gun in X-Men Dimension. Then they just never gave her a gun again because her focus was more like combat, like hand to hand. Give Mystique a gun again, please. It was really fun. It was so random, but I liked it. I thought it was a cool addition to her character. So, yeah, I would do tournaments with my friends where we would pick certain people or like teams, and you had to like defeat somebody else's team, and you couldn't pick the character that they had, and of course I would always win, but I loved like doing like tournaments on paper and like, okay, I won and I killed this guy, so like cross them out, you can't use them anymore, if that makes sense. Just like stuff that kids would do, like, we didn't have like games now where there's like so many in-game options. There was no like tournament option. There was an option though for survival mode where you had to see how many opponents you could take out without dying in one life. That taught me the value of, holding on to your health and your life in video games. But yeah, I digress. So I think I'm going to do my outro, and that will be the end of the video. Do you know what time it is? I will tell you what time it is. It is time for another Teddy Talks. Well, it's not time for another Teddy Talks video. We're done with the video, so it's actually time for me to head out. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Leave a comment down below. Do you have any favorite video games? Did you have a PS2, a PlayStation 2? What were your favorite video games or your favorite games from tonight's video? And did you have any favorite PS2 games? Because if you played any of these, I need to talk to you ASAP. So leave a comment. If you liked the video, if you didn't, like it, dislike it, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. I don't know. So have a good night, and thank you so much for joining me again tonight, and thank you for letting me talk and ramble and allowing me to kind of talk about a part of my childhood, really, like the this is my childhood, and it might not look like it to some people, or there might not be a lot of value, but I had so much fun with these games, and even though I don't play video games a lot anymore, I can always come back to my favorites. So hold on to your video games if you were thinking of getting rid of them, because you might want to play them again someday. With that being said, have a good day or night, and I will talk to you in the next one.